So do they look any good? They look awesome.
Yeah, I think they look pretty cool. They kind of remind me of the Brooks on the Soul area down there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking for trail runners. I mean, I'm curious. I'm also curious to know what the price tag is on those Nobles.
Yeah.
You know, if it's going to be worth it. I need new shoes, but
I guarantee
not that bad.
it's going to be at least like 140, 160, like all the rest of their teams.
I bet it's 160. I don't know what the other shoes run. I'm still running my Brooks till they die. That's why I love them. But they look nice.
They look good. I
mean,
them.
if they're good for both trail and road, the best pair of shoes I ever owned were, I got them from like a discount shoe store too. They were Nikes, but they were like made back in like the early mid 2000s, and they were built as a trail shoe or like a trail / like training shoe. Yeah. Those things lasted forever. I think that's probably the longest pair of shoes I've ever owned, and that's back when I was like running high mileage. Like I didn't even have like a high dollar running shoe. I just had these pair of Nikes that just lasted forever. Now I'm not so much a Nike fan.
I had a pair of Asics I really, really liked. I just don't even remember the name. This is back in 2007.
Yeah.
But they were amazing. And when I decided to start getting back into it, I tried to get a pair of Asics.
Not the same.
And I bought them because I thought I liked them. Walked around in them for like half a day and took them back. Hated it.
I started with Asics and I went to Brooks, went back to Asics and realized just Brooks was the way to go.
Yeah, I would definitely assume dropping anywhere from 140 to 170 on those because that's what the rest of their runners are.
So I'm probably just going to go back to Brooks because I love them. So.
But I do like that one.
Yeah, that trail shoe, that freaking tan. It's kind of like my trainers. Yeah, it's like a black charcoal top with the tan gum bottom.
Pretty slick.
Stop it.
Pretty
Stop it.
slick.
There's money I don't have right now. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Thank you for listening to a quick rant we had on these new trail shoes that are coming out from Noble. We are quite a fan of Noble shoes. We're not sponsored or affiliated by any way with them, but if you do buy something from them, kind of put in the notes page that you heard it from this podcast. And who knows, maybe we start stocking shoes. I have no idea.
And be ready to spend some dough.
Yeah, but you are going to be buying quality. That is for sure. And just like anything else in a gym, having good form, good function, a good spotting or training partner, footwear can also be key, depending on what you're doing. But anyway, so we've got a pretty cool topic today. It came from Kevin's family, someone that's actually avid listening to the podcast, which thank you very much to all of Kevin's extended family. My family doesn't say anything, so you can tell that I'm still the black sheep of the family because I just do my own thing.
Well, that's okay, because when I asked, it was my in-laws, and when I asked my in-laws, hey, do you guys, any of you guys have any ideas for something for us to talk about? And my one sister-in-law said, like, I can't remember exactly, but like, told us to talk about like a specific animal or something like that. Obviously, somebody that hasn't listened to the podcast.
Yeah, we'll set aside an episode to like talk about our spirit animals. Really just key in with our inner beasts. No, it's not going to happen. Straight up. Anyway, but yeah, no. So what was the question? What was the topic?
The topic was somewhere basically around the lines of how to balance the gym life and your family
or other like big priorities.
Or other priorities, not just gym life, but anything that can take up your time and still have time for your family.
Man,
could be gym, could be work, could be poker night.
Yeah, especially if you're going to poker night every night with the boys. that's not going to fly. We say that, and I'll preface probably the entire rant or discussion we're about to go down to is this all depends on who you are as a person and how aware you are of what you like to do or what you want to do, and to the family dynamic or the couple partnership dynamic that you have within your relationship. If your partner or spouse is cool with you working out 2 to 3 hours a day, as long as you can give them the rest, or you just kind of balance it all out, or maybe he or she doesn't care if she sees you much in a day, so long as you're there to support them when they need you. I mean, again, that goes into a whole nother can of worms as far as relationship dynamics, but what we're about to say, I think what I just prefaced right there is kind of like keep that in mind. Whatever we say moving forward, it's situation dependent.
Yeah, personal experience, because you know some relationships can be are totally different than others.
Mm-hmm.
So for some people, only getting they may not even have kids, so the fact that they're just two married couples, and maybe they only see each other for an hour a day.
Two married couples.
A married couple, two people married.
It's like, I mean, 2020.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not going to doubt it, but
Quapple.
Yeah, it's a quapple. That's a shortcoming. Hey, quapple? Question mark?
But
put that on a Patreon.
Yeah. But they those type of say this relationship A. Mm-hmm. They might be okay with only, and we're not saying that it has to be gym life. We're just saying
anything that distracts
anything
from
that can take
family.
Away time from the family.
Yeah, family. So that'll be the core part of the discussion is, X hobby, and we're going to relate it to fitness or honestly military, and the sacrifice of time that you're choosing to take away from the family. So this is huge. My background as far as like the difference of dynamic within me and my wife's relationship is she was raised very much very close-knit family, very tied together, very just on top of each other in a good way, very loving, very close household. They're very much just about doing things together, which is good. Not saying my family didn't, but growing up, it was very much independent based. There was a lot of pushing for independent attitudes and actions, and you figure it out. You need to work on it on your own. We're here if you need us, but you need to figure it out. Like you need to be your own person, kind of thing. I think that's what I'm getting at. You need to be your own person and work it out yourself until you can't, and then we're here for you. Mm-hmm. So I come from a very much like, I do my own thing. I work it out myself. Like I'm probably gonna like ask for help or ask for any assistance unless it's literally the last resort. And I'm just more of a travel wanderlost kid. Like I'm always looking for what's the next adventure, what's a journey. I'm just very much like, hey, I want to go off and do my own thing. And so for me, my part of the discussion will come from those clashing of family dynamics where I'm used to being extremely independent, extremely free, and my wife just grows up in a family where like if you're not doing anything, if you're not at work, or you're not like hunting during hunting season, you're home. And so that was like that took me and us together quite a few years to kind of adjust to those differences. So just so the fans and listeners know you as well before we jump any more into this. What about you and Amanda? Similar, different?
I feel very similar because Amanda's family, they're very, very close. They're really about like making sure everyone's able to see each other and get to be with each other. For example, like with Corona and everything going on, unfortunately, with her parents at the age they are, and with how Corona seems to affect people of that age more, it's just a smarter choice right now for them to stay in Massachusetts, because they wanted to come down here and basically stay down here from like November on until after Christmas, which I was all for, but they decided it wasn't a smart choice for them, unfortunately, and so they're all about her family's really about spending time together, which is great. My family, we spend time together, but also like we don't do a whole lot.
Very simple.
Yeah, like my dad's but when it comes down to it, my dad's a workaholic.
Yeah.
He'll my dad.
Well, his generation, if you look at a lot of that, like that was their mode. Which is great.
Work all day long, come home and take care of the farm stuff, and go out to the shop and work out there, and then until basically he goes to bed. And, it's just, I guess my family is just used to that. Like everyone's got their own thing. See each other when you see each other.
So we're probably gonna line up pretty cool on this.
So yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, cool. So now you all kind of know where our experience is going to lead us to. So, how do you balance lifting or whatever with family life. So I would say the first point I want to make is this really depends on what you want to do and what you want to do with it. So if your goals are just to generally just be healthy and be fit and take care of yourself, I would tell you honestly, you don't need more than 3 days a week for anywhere from 45 minutes, honestly on average about 45 minutes of exercise. Moderate exercise with cardio mixed in, probably on your off days. And that's pretty easy to balance for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty moderate. But that's also depending on how heavy is your workload. How demanding or how many responsibilities do you have on the home front. That could be harder for, say, a kid in high school that he wants to get his education. Maybe he has to work the farm, or he has a job where he has to go somewhere and work a lot of hours, and then he also has to take care of maybe brothers and sisters or mom or dad at home. So for him to lift, maybe the high school has a lifting program or just a weights class, but for him or her to go out and then for another 45 minutes of their day get a workout in. Again, this is a very fluid topic that, it's very situationally dependent, but you just have to look at what you want to do and what you want to do with it. So someone that's just generally going to just go and work out, just find how it's going to fit in. That's kind of the easier answer on the front end of what we're going to talk about. Is if it's just very basic and standard 3 days a week, maybe even just 4 days a week, 30 to 45 minutes of like dedicated exercising, or any type of a cardio based circuit. Put your phone away, get in the gym, do the work, get after it, get out and go home. Nothing is more frustrating when I worked at a commercial gym that I would sit there and count bodies and fold towels and help answer questions and train people, that I would just see the same core group of guys and gals come in and they would just be there for 2-3 hours at a time, and it's like only 10% of that was actually spent lifting any weight. The other 90% was them on their phone, them talking to their gym buddy, talking about who knows what. So it's just like, if you're going to sacrifice that time away from family, away from work, then get in there and make it a priority. Nothing frustrates me more, and it's good, but when I come in here on my time to lift, and all of a sudden apparently that is the time that potential members or potential clients or current clients, like everybody and their brother underneath the sun wants to immediately talk to me at that time. And it's just kind of like I have to weigh of hey, I'm on crunch time. I have to make my time worth it. Do I take the call? Do I answer it now, or do I wait? Do I miss an opportunity with a new potential client or member? But yeah, if you want to just kind of roll with anything, do your thing from there. I'm gonna shut that thing off.
I feel I get where you're coming from there, because over at Capital, sometimes when I go to ask Luke a question or something, I also at the same time feel bad sometimes to ask him that question, because I know it's I'm messing with his routine there when he is doing something, but he's never leave me alone. He'll take the time, he'll talk to you, but I usually try to keep it quick and snappy, because I can understand that. So.
Yeah, if someone's in the gym and they've got headphones in, I stay away. I'm like, you're in your world, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just the general aspect. I would say what you want to do and what you want to do with it, to come back to this point again and again, is, man, when you're looking at dialing it up, for a purpose, whether bodybuilding, I would say any competition-based stuff, or if you're looking to take your basic level of experience and you're trying to just next level, you're trying to level up, or if you're in the military and you want to, I have a personal experience with this, is if you're looking at say a selection process, or a certain type of a specialty school to attend that has very specific requirements to attend, participate, and then graduate, you have to then take the extra time to prepare yourself. So when I, first few years in the Corps, I decided, okay, I kind of don't like where things are going right now with where I'm at. I'm going to try to look for the next best thing, or the thing that I know that at least I can show up and put out and have someone tell me, yes, we want you, or no, we don't. Kind of see where I'm at on the bar. So I decided I was going to prepare for MARSOC selection, which anyone that's listened to this or understands, like that's a pretty grueling process, and it's multiple phases, similar to kind of certain things that the SEALs go through, but what's great is that they don't take entry-level people. Like, you pretty much have to be in the Marine Corps at least 3 years or be an E4 to attend. Long story short, I didn't end up being able to attend due to some bureaucratical paperwork. I'll say the least on that one. But the reason I bring this situation up is, I was preparing for this, and this was we laugh about it now, but this was a pretty rough time for my wife and I's relationship. She was pregnant with our first kid as well, which was a horrendous experience for her, sick all the time. But the time that I took out of every day and every week was pretty exponential. I was waking up early, going to the gym for one session in the morning for about 2 hours, coming home. If I wasn't working, then I was home, or I would just work out, and then I'd go to work for my 6 or 8 hour shift. Mm-hmm. And then I would leave work, go back to the gym to meet up with a friend of mine, Cody, for another 2 hour workout. So almost 4 to 5 days a week, or 4 days a week, I was spending almost 4 hours in the gym. And then the rest of that was at work, or maybe I wasn't. Thursday nights was swim night, where I went to the local pool at the university, in the next town over, and I was there for 3 hours, just drinking water and hating my life. And then Saturdays, so again, now we're on my 6th day of the week. Saturdays was my long ruck day, where I pretty much put on, my 60, 70 pound pack, my, fatigues or whatever, and I went. It was usually boots and boots, and I just went. And I would be gone for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, just putting miles on my feet, just ranger shuffling the whole time, and my feet hurt. I did this for 1.5 years straight. Had one school date, got bumped.
Damn.
Was promised another school date, was pretty much lied to. And then by the time I kept preparing, found out that the next following year it was shut off for reservists. So I literally spent 1.5 years of my life spending six days a week, minimum average of 4 to 5 hours in the gym every day. I can tell you for a fact that my wife and I's relationship was extremely strained during that time. Like, she supported me to the degree that she knew I was working extremely hard to better our station as a family, as far as financially and not to say it was a guarantee, but that I was doing everything within my power to better where we were at economically, and then, if I had gotten picked up and did make it, that would have meant the active duty life, the benefits, the on-base housing or not, it didn't matter. Like, I was doing everything I could to make this happen, but at the same time, my family definitely, sat in the backseat of the car. Mm-hmm. And in hindsight, I've told her multiple times, and I'll say it on here, like, Lexi, I'm super sorry that we definitely went through that. It was definitely not easy for either of us. It definitely seemed like maybe I was on the joyride a little bit better because, it was what I was choosing to do. But that's an extremely big extreme, but at the same time, when you're in a relationship or, and when we say family, it could be just you and your spouse or partner, or you two and then kids. And when you have kids in the mix, like, my kids are like my world, and I know they are for you guys too. Like, everything I do, and even long days that I spend here, people think when you own a gym or when you're a small business owner that you suddenly have like all this extra free time. Nah, dude, like, I'm busy, yes, but I try to be as efficient with my time as possible so that I don't have to be here all the time. Mm-hmm. But there's always a bunch of these little tasks that come up that will take me away or distract me from, what I do want to be doing, which I do want to be home more, and it's, you just have to find where that balance is for you. And honestly, it's going to come time, either a friend, your spouse, or somebody that you respect telling you to get your head out of your ass sometimes. to wake you up and be like, yo, you can't keep doing this because your home life is, it's not I wouldn't say it would be a disaster, but it's suffering. And you guys probably have a similar phrase, but a distracted Marine's a dead Marine. And this typically refers to like when you're deployed, but the tenet of that phrasing pretty much means like, look, if your house isn't in good order, you're not in good order. Mm-hmm. You're distracted, like your mind is somewhere else. And honestly, like even during that whole time, that year and a half of preparing, like I just had this like fear in the back of my head just looming that I knew I was doing something wrong. Like I knew I wasn't making my family as much of a priority as I should, but I justified it with, but I'm putting all this work in to try to make it better for us. And again, that's a very heavy catch-22. Again, didn't work out in my favor, didn't end up happening, but through that experience, the positive that came out of it was I know how to train for those events now. I know how to train other people to exceed it, any expectation going into a selection process like that. Do I know the ins and outs of everything they're going to test for? Absolutely not. But when it comes down to anything physical, anyone that wants to be physically ready, I can do it. So that was, is that a positive trade-off for that? Maybe time will tell. But that's kind of like my experience to share with the listeners of like, look, you have to really understand what it is you're going to be asking your family to sacrifice or support.
So, but now, how's the balance? Like, how does it work now for you?
For both of us?
Yeah.
Definitely a lot better. It's not perfect, especially like now that I operate my own facility. Like it used to be that I trained people out of one facility or another. So it was very much like my hours were very obvious. I was only there if I was working out or if one of us was training, and usually I would train before or after a client, so it was very easy to block my time out and then go home. Mm-hmm. That's when our overhead was very low, and now that our overhead is higher, it's like I need more time. And again, it kind of comes down to like, oh, you're a small business owner, you should have all this extra free time, which, my wife's, my father-in-law, and just to keep it simple, he, for a long time has operated his own business, and he's worked hard for many, many years, and that's afforded him, after all that hard work, the luxury of when and if he wants to take time off, he does, which is good for him. Again, he's been in business over 15 years. I'll shake anyone's hand, for doing that because they've grinded at it, but you can't hold that same expectation for a small business owner 1 to 2 years in, 1 year in. We'll just say almost 6 months, if we're not even counting quarantine Rona, to suddenly be like, well, you own your own business. You can take any time off you want. I'm like, yeah, right, dude.
Take off, you don't get paid.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Same as anyone else who works for an actual company. Yeah. You take time off, you're not getting paid.
Like if you get paid time, small business owners don't get paid time off. I would love it. I'd love to save something up and have that happen, but that's just not where I'm at yet. And so to come back to your question, how's the balance? I'd say from that experience and moving forward through different other phases, I think what got better was realizing that we can't go at it alone together, separately. We have to go at it together. And even though like our goals don't necessarily like always intertwine with how we've got to like her goals, her business, my business, the kids, like just trying to communicate clearer to each other. Because anyone can communicate and just talk to each other,
mm-hmm.
But how much are you really hearing, and how much are you listening? It's extremely huge concepts to hear, and to find that balance, it takes a level of communication that not a lot of people have nowadays, and it's deteriorating. We see the divorce rates skyrocketing in the country. We're seeing, depression and suicide rates skyrocket through the country, and sometimes it's because people don't feel like there's someone in their corner. Not just supporting them, but like communicating and like loving that person for who they are and what they want to be. A lot of times we feel like having ambition and drive is almost looked at negatively sometimes nowadays. Like, well, why can't you just go with the flow? Like, why don't you just go work this or do this job and just essentially take the easy route out, when maybe that person's passion and desire is, I don't know, they want to build their own racetrack team. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just the thing that pops in my head. You know, that's their drive. So they're going to grind at it, perform in the local circuits, build their name up, and all of a sudden, you know, one day maybe they're on NASCAR or the Indy 5. I mean, I don't know. You know, it's whatever it is. But like, if whatever it is you want to do, what do you want to do with it, and how hard do you want to go? That's another thing. Like, I'm going to use bodybuilding.
And what are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah, sacrifice. That's the thing. Anything great in life is going to take sacrifice. There's no way around that. I'm sorry. If you think that you're going to want something or desire something and that you're not going to have to work for it, you're not going to have to sacrifice time, money, energy, sweat, blood. Like, I don't know what you're working for. I have no concept of anything out there that comes easy or free, other than like laziness. And even that, you have to apparently, like, you have to work at being lazy. Like, you have to try really hard to just not do anything.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't know. That's wild. So I would say communication. We've gotten really good at communicating, and even today there was a mix-up in schedule, but it's just because I've been so frazzled with so many little things, taskers that need to happen, that I completely forgot today's schedule for her end, as far as what she's doing with the kids and what she needs to do on her own time. So I messed up today for sure. But typically we know each other's schedules, we know the demands, and she understands that the first year to 2 years of this endeavor with the gym is going to be tight. It's going to be rough. But that the more people understand what I do, the more people see what I have to offer, the value it is, how they progress, you know, what they're going to gain out of it. You know, it's just an exposure thing at this point. And as the gym grows and I can take on assistant trainers, I can bring in other people, so that when I want to take time off, say in 3-4 years, I can be like, hey, you two got it, deuces, I'm leaving for 4 days. You know, but yet the money is still rolling in. That is my ultimate goal. And in 5 years, I can pretty much be like, take whatever time off I want. The gym has grown. We're good. We keep growing. Positive things, building the experience, treating people fairly, not price gouging people. You know, whatever you pay from here, it's going to be worth your time and value. It's going to be of value to you, not just me. So, but yeah, man, it's my end at least. I have no idea where I did. I kind of blacked out there for a second and then just rolled. But that was a good question. What about you? What are some experiences that you personally have gone through with your journey with whatever it is, not just lifting, with you and Amanda?
I would say, like, when I first started working in like my actual field, I thought I had to, you know, I guess kind of not, basically when I was told to get this done, it wasn't like, you know, okay, I'll work on it, but I have to, you know, I need this time. It's okay, I'll work on it. And like, I can recall times where I'd be still at work at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know, and I had been there since like 7 o'clock the morning before.
Jeez.
And it'd be, you know, almost, you know, and then I'll like, I can recall a couple times where I left work because I worked in Columbia. I lived in Centertown, so that's a long drive. So I would leave work and go down the road a little bit to my aunt and uncle's and sleep for a couple hours and go right back to work before anyone else even got there. And that made it rough, obviously, on me, but also made it rough on my wife because, one, she didn't get to see me. She had the kids by herself, and man, you make it even worse. I didn't even make that good of money.
Yeah.
But now it's like, right now I got lucky with, granted, I've also had to job jump a lot over the last few years, but I finally feel like I got into a company now where, you know, if I want to work overtime and it's there, I can. But even if they got overtime to be done and I don't want to do it, I don't have to do it.
That's awesome.
Once I put 8 hours in, I'm done. I clean my hands, walk away. Like, and they like even today, because with the time change and difference, and because they're all in Ohio, I'm the only remote person. You know, it was 5 o'clock their time, but it was still 4 o'clock here, and I still had time on the clock to knock out. And I had sent something back, turned it in, and my boss is like, "Are you done for the day, or you still got more stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got more stuff. You can send me something else." It wasn't like, "Oh, just I'm gonna keep sending you stuff until like everything's done." It's like, so I got lucky with that. But I definitely like that stage where I was just always working, wouldn't even question it. I would just work until it was done type thing. Definitely turned into like realizing like there's a time for work and there's a time for family. And it's the same, like my wife sometimes when she has to work a lot, she feels bad about it, but it's like, it's fine. Like, you don't do it very often.
Home,
And we're able to make it work. It doesn't happen often, very often. And when it does happen, it's because it's a serious thing, because she's got a serious job,
Yeah.
But we've also kind of convert that now into, because she's a gym rat, and I'm a gym rat, and we're lucky that one here, as the kids have a place to be, and where she goes at the studio has daycare, so those things definitely do help out. But even on top of that, she likes working out early in the mornings. That's her jam, and I don't, which works out. So I'm home. I stay home with the kids. I stay home and sleep, but I stay home with the kids while she goes hits the gym up in the morning. And if she wants to hit the gym up in the evening and takes the kids, then that's when I go at the same time, since we don't have to worry about a babysitter, luckily for us. But most days she only goes in the morning, and so we've worked it out to where either I go as soon as I get off work, or I wait till after the kids go to bed. That way, I'm home with the kids. One, help with the kids. Two, spend time with the kids. And three, for all four of us to spend time together. Then I'll go to the gym. Or, every once in a while though, even if she don't go to the gym after work and take the kids with, she still not allows me, but she's still okay with me going to the gym right after work. And I like doing that because, the group that's there, I get to socialize with those people. Yeah, I'm working out, but it's also nice to see.
Yeah, it's like a good environment.
Yeah. Because working from home, it's me and my dog all day.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see some other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we've really tried to make sure our schedule works together. Sometimes on the weekends, when there's certain, like maybe something special going on at her gym, she's like, "Hey, do you mind if I go do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. We'll make it work." And if it's not gonna work, I was like, "I don't think it's gonna work," and she don't throw a fit. Like we work with each other on it, and that's the big key is whether it's work, gym, whatever hobby it is. Like you said, communication and understanding between spouses and between parents and children, because eventually the kids are getting old enough where they're going to want to be doing stuff, and not being allowed them to be able to do certain things. As a parent, you're going to have to sacrifice some things.
Yeah, once you add kids to the mix and they get interested in anything extracurricular, that's a whole nother dime bag to open up. And I love what you said just now. It's working it out, or you worked it out. It's communicating, working together, because you're a partnership. You cannot, male or female, just be on the powertrain of your way is the highway, or I'm gonna do it because I want to do it. Everyone at some point in their life, depending on your dynamic, is going to be passionate about something or going to want to do a thing, and you hope that your significant other will be on board. Sometimes they take a little extra convincing, especially if it's like a little bit of harebrained, or it's a little out there. Maybe they don't completely see the big picture. But the thing is, like, to have that balance, you have to have the trust and the partnership there so that you can communicate about it without it becoming a fight. You have to be able to understand that you trust each other enough to work it out, you know, to make it work, you know, like my wife pretty much works from home, so there's not, you know, just like you essentially, but like, you know, my kids are actually young enough that they're not in daycare, or they could be in daycare, we just choose not to, so she's more of a stay-at-home mom, you know, so it's not like, you know, we're splitting off to 2 different occupations in separate places, and then we have to coordinate with where the kids are, you know, so we've like limited that moving piece in the wheel, but at the same time, there's just a lot of dynamics when you add children into that mix, but even without it, you know, it just takes a matter of fact of just trust and communication.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's something on the edge of my brain that I keep wanting to jump to, and it's not connecting the dot. It's like I've missed a meal today. Oh wait, I have. Like, oh, that's what it was. Like, so when you take all these pieces, and then you as an individual, I'm gonna use fitness here, is you want to dial it up, not just from like an intermediate, but to like an advanced level of fitness. I wouldn't say yet prepping for a competition, because I think that would take the obvious route of like, look, if you're prepping for a competition, depending on what it is, I would say more of an endurance side, you know, like CrossFit or Ironman or anything where you have to train your body in multiple different disciplines. That takes a lot of time. Mm-hmm. Like the small group training that I want to find a group that to do in here to essentially competition train them for like CrossFit things. Those are typically about every day. It's about 4 to 5 days a week for about 2 hours. Like, you are coming in here knowing that you're about to put out hardcore for about 1 hour 45 to 2 hours. And that's a choice that has to be made. And I'm not saying like every one of those people will be going to a competition soon, but it means that they're in competition prep to go to a competition at some point. Mm-hmm. You know, they are being developed. And so that's what I'm saying. When you're moving from an intermediate level of fitness and athleticism to that next level, and again, Ironmans, that, I mean, listening to the HWMF podcast, listening to Bobby Duchette's, I probably botched that last name, sorry, Big Dip Bob, but hearing his journey to prepare for an Ironman, 1, incredible the transformation he's gone through.
Yeah.
2, I mean, prepping for that selection was rough, but then hearing the amount of mileage he is on average every week putting his body through just makes like hamsters turn wheels in my brain.
Well, I mean, every Saturday he goes out on the bike and he's knocking out 100 miles.
I mean, his bike looks like a bike from Tron. No joke. That's what I thought. I wanted to message him and be like, dude, that looks like the bike from Tron. Like, I hope you have the music just going underneath you. But that's what I mean. It's like when you're prepping for an upper level status of fitness and competition, like, that is going to take time. With that, you need to be communicating and help your significant other understand what it is that they will potentially face as you choose to do this. Mm-hmm. You know, hey, I want to do this. This is why. This is how much time it's going to take. You know, the biggest thing, like military or life or job, family, is don't bring problems to the table. Bring a problem, bring a solution as well. You know, highlight a problem or highlight an issue, bring a path for solutions as well, or a plan. You know, like again, I've mentioned it before, but getting back into competition paintball, which I know for a lot of people seems extremely silly because you just think a bunch of dudes running around in the woods, but where the team wants to go and where we did, you know, I didn't think I would be competing on this team as soon as I was. I just thought I'd take a year, train up, get back to where I used to be and be better. Not really realizing I was going to be picked up by the team as fast as I was. We had no communication of a plan of the time and sacrifice it would take at practices, at tournaments, driving to and from things, having to get food while I'm out, having to pay for certain supplies when we go, like, so that's honestly another perfect example of like, it happened, she knows that I'm very passionate about it, this is something I definitely want to make more of a side thing eventually, maybe have it grow to something more, but it's something that like, it does take a significant amount of time. When season hits, it can take a pretty significant amount of time of our weekends. Some days the weekends are, because I'm so busy throughout the week, the weekends are sometimes the only day we truly have to be together as a complete family. And then to come to her and say, hey babe, 4 months out of the year, every other month or so, or like 6 months out of the year, every other month, you know, I'm gonna be gone for like half those weekends, you know, on top of my drill weekends. Now we start getting pretty hairy. You know what I mean? So we know, so using that example, then to communicate and plan and prepare, going into next season, we know that we are going to, we still need to do it. We keep talking about it, we keep forgetting. But we're gonna sit down, we're gonna make a very clear contract as to when, how much, and what we're gonna do about it. And what we're going to then do to make sure that when I am home, that it is 150% family and kid time. And it's something that I've tried very hard to, when I'm not here at the gym training people or taking care of other things that need to, you know, get hit on, and I'm not working, you know, say a side job, I am home. Like, and I do my, I'm not great at it, but I do my best to like put my phone and laptop or any type of devices away so that I am more involved with the kids. Again, I'm working on it. It's, we live in an age of distraction that is unreal. And I'm glad I took Facebook off my phone. That was a huge hurdle. Not that it was hard to do, but it was one that like I justified, like, well, I can access, like, you know, the gym page, you know, through my phone. But then I realized, like, I was just getting sucked into the toxic nature of Facebook, and I said, screw it, I don't need this. I have the messenger. If somebody needs to hit up the page, they can still talk to me. It's fine, you know. So that was good for me to do. But it's something that, like, whatever it is that is a priority in your life, and for this we use family, you need to actively make it a priority. Don't bullshit yourself and say, oh yeah, I'm making a priority, but you're really not making a priority. Like, love is truly spelt with time, home. And I'm not just saying, well, yeah, I'm home all the time, but okay, well, are you home on your phone, just staring at that instead of playing with your kids or spending quality time with, like, maybe your wife? Even if it's just like sitting down in the same room together and you're both reading a book. And again, someone's like, well, I'm reading like a Kindle book. Okay, dude, whatever, you know. But I hope the gist of what I'm getting at is when you're home, you need to be home, present, engaged. Again, my 4-year-old gets super annoying sometimes, and I'm like, just figure it out. I'm just like, you've asked me the same question 10 times, and now I have to, like, alter my volume to a louder setting so that you then get it somehow, because you didn't the first 9 times. Now you get it. Now you're kind of tearing up. Now I feel like a jerk. Bad parent award for the second time in a row. Okay, we'll make this better. Let's go play a puzzle. Okay. I'm like, okay, everything's better now. Universe has re-altered itself. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, know exactly what you're talking about.
I'll tell you what, dude. I love being a dad. I truly do. It's definitely one of the greatest things I've ever.
Man, is it hard?
Dude, have kids. They said it'll be
It'll
great.
be fun.
It'll be fun. It'll be great. You'll have so many memories. I'm like, yeah. After, like, every hair on my head turns gray from stress, I'm like thinning out. I'm not actually losing my hair as much as I was in the past. Thank you, Johnny Slicks. Look them up. Again, I'm not endorsed by them. I like their product. Marine and veteran owned. Johnny Slicks. Great hair pomade. Smells great too. Might get you a can for Christmas.
Still got all my hair. What are you talking about?
No, it's just a good product. I'm just saying.
I'm just
Slip that in. Anyway.
All right. So yeah, I just kind of hit the points again. If you've got a family, and no matter what it is that you like to do, whether it is going to the gym or whatever kind of hobby, or if it is just work, you need to find a way to still be able to spend appropriate amount of time with your loved ones. You need to be dedicated time, not just being there, and being there are two different things.
Yeah, I hope everyone's picking that up. I hope you, and if And if it's not if you're listening to this and it's not clicking, that needs to be your red flag. That needs to be this moment right now needs to be the moment that, like, if these principles aren't making sense to you and you're in these situations, I'm going to tell you right now what you need to do is when you come home, before you enter the door, you need to get your mind right. No matter how hard a day it's been, no matter what you've gone through or how frustrated you may be, before you enter that door, you need to take a big breath. You just need to let all of it out and realize that when you walk through that threshold, that you're home. Put your phones away, put your laptop, your tablet, take your smartwatch off. If you get little ding notification on there, just take it off for like an hour. Put everything away for like an hour and just be home. Be present. I tell you what, from personal experience, I'm telling you, it will make a difference.
Leave the bullshit at the door.
Just don't bring it home. Knock your boots off, okay? Knock them off, get inside, be with your family. Got anything else? That was good.
I think that's a good note to stop on.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you really everybody got a lot out of this. I know I did. Definitely having to rehash some of the past, some of the stupidity of younger years. But hey, when you're young and dumb, you can make those. But when you have responsibilities and dependents relying on you, you need to figure it out faster than the average bear. Okay. So thank you all again. Keep your powder dry, and I hope you show up and listen to us next time. Please like, share, comment, hit us up. We're always looking for new topics. Thank you all very much.